After a brutal storm rocked our camp on day one, we woke up to calm skies, and thankfully everything's still strapped to the rigs. If you missed the chaos, hit the link and watch day one now. On day two, we hit the beach with a new crew member and set our sights on the iconic Cape Lookout Lighthouse, 15 miles of deep sand and shoreline ahead. From the forgotten forest trails to the historic homes and endless dunes, day two was a mix of exploration and raw coastal beauty, and it ends with the perfect beach camp under a blazing sunset.
Into the light now, the light listen down, 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 into the listen down, into the light now, the light listen down, into the light now.
Last night's storm was crazy. I was buckled up in my bed, in my tent, and the whole tent was shaking all night. And then probably about, 3:30, I had my windows open or cracked a little bit. I could feel the rain start to come inside the tent. It was blowing sideways, but it was something else. As they say, it's the calm after the storm. Today you wake up and there's absolutely zero wind here, and the sunset was beautiful. I saw a little bit of it out of my tent, and I said, I've got to get up and go catch that. However, the trade-off to no wind, I could feel the gnats and the bugs all over me right now because there's no wind blowing them away. So I hope I brought enough repellent for today, because these gnats are crazy, and the day's just got started. When I make coffee, I usually use this mushroom coffee. It's just a little powder, and you put like 1 scoop in. And it's great for inflammation in your joints. Oh man, this is why we came here. A beach all to ourselves. My coffee and my muffin. So last night when we got here, this main office here was closed. It had a big close sign on the front door, but there's another sign that says stop and check in. Evidently, you're supposed to have this yellow sticker that goes on your window, and last night it was closed, so we just kind of kept driving. But today they said if you don't stop and get that sticker, they're going to fine you for being on the park. So we're going to go in here. We've already paid for it online. We're going to go in here and grab our sticker. Go ahead. All right, so our pass goes here, driver's side.
I want you and only you. I got nothing left to lose. So I'll keep waiting for you. It's the only thing that I can do to keep my composure.
15 to 17 miles down the island, you'll get to the lighthouse. This is the Cape Lookout Lighthouse that everybody kind of ventures down. It's really the only thing that's on the island. As far as I know, it's still in operation now. I know back in the Confederate days, the Confederates tried to destroy it, I guess probably to create havoc and make boats crash into the island, but they were unsuccessful. So I don't think that we could ask for much better weather today. The wind is at its minimal probably, and it's probably about 86 degrees. It's overcast right now, so the sun is not blazing. The clouds are out, so it's not blistering hot. We've made it here to the lighthouse. You park in this little parking lot and then walk up. You can't actually drive up to the lighthouse, but if you park right here, you can walk up to it.
Overstand, Roxy.
The original lighthouse actually was built in 1812 with the very first innkeeper's lodge being facilitated then. The innkeepers at the time were the ones that lived on the island, that kept the lighthouse going, they kept fuel in the light, and also just maintained all of the lighthouse to make sure that that light didn't go out, because the lighthouse purpose was to warn the ships away from the lower land coming into the United States here. So the Cape Lookout Lighthouse actually has this diamond pattern on it, but I didn't realize that that was intentional. Because if you look at all these other lighthouses that are on the North Carolina border, they all have different patterns. It was kind of like a landmark to show the boaters where they are on the coast. So this cool little house here that's just off the side of the lighthouse was built in 1873, and it was primarily built for the assistance of the lighthouse workers. So this would actually house not just the workers themselves, but their families. And this was in operation for about 75 years. They would live in this house and keep that working. The keeper's quarters is now set up as a museum. You can go in and walk around and just kind of see how they used to live back in this day. They were there traditionally for 6 years each, and their main job was just to maintain the lighthouse, and then also to make sure that there was fuel in the light and make sure that the lighthouse was in operation. Imagine walking out, working here, and this would be your view every day. I don't know about you, but this is where I would end my day every day. Just looking out and praising what God has made. I imagine that many of those families that lived in this house also lived here with their children. And so their children would likely come out here and then just explore this island fully. So we're here at the southern point of Cape Lookout, and it is almost like a desert. If you look around, there's no trees. We left from that area over there, and for as far as you can see, you don't even see the lighthouse anymore. So down here at the southern part, you can see there's a little beachy area where you can probably walk out, and you may have to wait a little bit, but there's an island right out there called Shark Island, and I assume that there's probably some people who attempt to drive out there. The U.S. Forest Service says absolutely do not. They said if you actually get caught out there and you get stuck, the fine is almost double, and it's going to cost you probably 4 to 5 times more to rescue you and your vehicle off of that island. So you don't want to try to get out there to that island. You can swim out there if you want, but definitely don't try to take your rig out there in low tide. This looks like it's going to be an awesome place for people to come out here and fish. I don't know if they're chumming for anything specific, but down here at the southern point seems to be where everybody kind of congregates and tries to fish. So out here on the south end of the island is where you're going to find a ton of shells. I guess this is where it kind of collects whenever high tide comes up, and it just washes everything into this area. Check this out. There is shells everywhere. If you're into collecting shells, it's probably all been scavenged, but you can come through here and pick up some really cool, oh look, little crab claws. You can come in here and go shelling and just pick up all kinds of cool shells for your collection. We're gonna head up the beach and maybe pull over and find a place to have some lunch. So it looks like there's a possibility of another small little storm or shower coming through at about 1 o'clock. That's about 2 hours. We're going to try to head up the beach on the Bayside where it's a little bit more calmer. Maybe we could pull over and have lunch for a little bit. And I actually like the Bayside only because the water is so calm over there. I don't want to get in that ocean. That ocean has too many undertows, has sharks, has big waves. I want to go on the bay and go get in the calm ocean. He's doing it. So we pulled over for a second just to get out and we can all make some sandwiches and some lunch, and I may actually go take a dip in that water right over there. It is so hot and that water looks really good. Like some other boathouse workers that maybe used to live in these old homes. It's still early, it's about 2 o'clock, but we've seen most of the island. So we're gonna go ahead and just kind of set up camp and relax for a little bit. So on the south end of the island, near that lighthouse, they have facilities down here. They're not fantastic. You've got a couple of bathrooms, but you also have this water station where you can fill up with water. Now, this is not going to be drinking water, but this is going to be some water that you could either wash with through a shower, washing dishes, or something like that. You don't want to drink this water, but it is going to be shower water. This is going to be home for tonight. I'm going to go ahead and set up camp. We're going to be posted up here, just kind of relaxing for the rest of the day. We may go climb in the water for a little bit, but this is going to be a nice evening, I think. Let's go ahead and get camp set up. Since we pulled into camp a little bit early, that gives me the perfect opportunity to charge up all my devices and also do a little bit of work on editing some videos. So about 5 weeks ago, we took a 7-day adventure to the Ozark Overlanding Adventure Trail, and I've been working super hard to finish editing just the first video. This is going to be released in 5 different series. It's taken me an awful long time just to edit even the first video. This gives me a perfect opportunity to kind of post up right here next to the beach and kind of work on this for a little bit. So we got this really cool campsite today. It's right here next to the lighthouse. You see it right there. That thing should light up tonight, and it'd be really cool to kind of see that thing going all night. But we're right here next to the ocean, and we've got all the Jeeps lined up here. You can see Stuart and the guys have us a campfire out there where those chairs are. You are allowed to do a campfire here on Cape Lookout. It just has to be below the water line, whatever the high tide line or something like that. Basically, you can't have it up here next to the dunes. You could put your Jeeps and your rigs up here next to the dunes, but your campfire has to be away from the dunes down there. Fred's all set up here. What you doing, Fred? You on a phone call?
Yes, sir.
Business?
No, it's a pleasure talking about my trip.
Oh, I was about to say, you can't be working out here.
No, I ain't working.
But somebody who is working out here is Ken. Kenneth is always working.
Gotta get those views. Right,
Kenneth, what are you working on?
Checking in dogs in and out.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I'm not going to take a video of your client list.
Just picture the dogs.
Bunch of dogs' names.
Chef Tell over there cooking.
Oh, Ira's already, he's got his chopping board out, his Blackstone.
It's getting real.
Look at all the spices and everything. Oh, it's been marinating.
Cut up bell peppers and mushrooms, and we got some fresh spices and got other spices, horseradish. We got all kinds of stuff going on here.
It's always great to have an Ira on your team.
Bada bing, bada bang. Gouda, smoked Gouda.
What's the other one? Pepper jack?
Provolone.
Provolone and smoked Gouda. Oh my goodness.
This is the finished product. It's gonna be good. Good stuff, good stuff.
We're gonna have a reunion at your house.
Bring it. I'm not that far away. And we just gotta chop it on the official Clean Slate Adventure block there. Bam.
Quite as fancy as my little burgers, but
I know, it's a stretch, but you know, I try. Bro,
oh my goodness.
hopefully I got enough seasoning. It's not my usual seasonings.
Ira, that's awesome, man.
Awesome. What I wanted to hear.
It's perfection. I wouldn't expect anything else from the Italians. Made in Italy.
They burn many witches. They know exactly how to do this.
So the island itself is really not that large. I think totally it's about 55 to 60 miles, but that's stretching all the way up to the northern part and then coming down to the southern part, which is technically two different islands. The southern part, I think, is around 20 miles, maybe 18 to 20 miles from the ferry. So once you get off the ferry, you turn left, and then that goes up for maybe about 5 miles, and then from the ferry down is probably about 16. And if you can imagine, it is all just desolate sand, with the exception of two sections, really. They've got the lighthouse, which is a really cool place to kind of come and visit. It gives a lot of history about the area here in Cape Lookout, but there's another part of Cape Lookout that's called the historic Cape Lookout, or the historic city, or the historic town Cape Lookout. It's a smaller area where you can actually drive through. It's almost like a preserved neighborhood of old 1800 houses that people who worked either in the lighthouse or worked on the ferry or worked on something on the island. There were only workers that were here. It wasn't populated with people, but workers and their families lived here. So those two areas, the lighthouse and then the old historic Cape Lookout town, two really cool areas to investigate or explore. Other than that, there's not a lot to do here but drive on the beach. Cape Lookout is probably one of the only places that I know that you can actually see the sunset and the sunrise from your camp. All you have to do is just walk up here on this dune and you can watch the sunset right there, and then tomorrow morning watch the sunrise right there. Today was probably one of the most perfect days on Cape Lookout. I've watched so many videos that talked about how the wind is just consistently like blistering. And the first day that we got here, it was all that and more. It was like sand blasting us. But today was unbelievable. The wind was maybe 5 miles an hour. There was no sand fleas. There was no mosquitoes, no flies. It was kind of a overcast, so like maybe it was about 82 degrees, but the sun wasn't blistering. It was absolutely perfect today. Now we're gonna go down and enjoy Pierre's fire pit.
Into the